With just 1 week left on the congressional calendar, there is still no budget deal for the 2014-2015 fiscal years. So are House leaders hard at work this weekend? Actually, House Budget Chairman Paul Ryan and Senate Budget Chairwoman Patty Murray are back at home this weekend in Wisconsin and Washington State, respectively. Are we nearing another government shutdown? Tennessee's Republican Congresswoman Marsha Blackburn sits on the House Budget Committee. Congresswoman, good to see you as always. Thanks for spending some time with me. Again, you sit on the Budget Committee. As you keep an eye on the Ryan Murray Budget Conference, it's trying to hammer out a deal. What are you most hoping to see come out of it, and what are you most willing to compromise on?
I think that we are all hopeful that they are going to reach a budget number and be able to come to that agreement so that the appropriators can start building that budget out. That is what we're hopeful. A couple of things that we would like to see is dealing with the long-term systemic growth that you see through the trust funds and through the entitlements. And Craig, one of the things we know is with the work we've done through sequestration, you're going to see a growth in discretionary spending that will be about 17% of the budget. But when you look at the trust funds, which are Medicare and Social Security earned benefits there, and Medicaid, which is the largest of the entitlements, you're looking at a 79% growth. And of course, that is over a 10-year period of time, which is the budget window.
So you want to see entitlement reform?
Well, we need to put that on the table and say, how do we come together for the good of the American people, for future generations, for our solvency, and get this out-of-control spending under control, and do that in a way that is going to be helpful to getting this debt under control. You know, it's not fair to future generations to have this debt.
House Democrats have drawn a line in the sand. I'm sure you know House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi, Congressman Chris Van Hollen, they have said that they will not support a budget agreement that does not include a one-year extension of unemployment insurance. How do you feel about that?
Well, I find it very unfortunate, and when you talk to employers, they are telling you that they have great concerns about making that extension. We are talking to employers all across the country. Some of us said, well, let me give you an example.
What about the employees? What about the 1.3 million employees whose unemployment benefits would expire?
Well, and that's the concern. And one of the things that we are hearing from so many people is that they have jobs right now that they would like to fill, and we want to see those back into the marketplace so that that unemployment rate comes down. And when you look at the numbers that came out yesterday, you have to say, what kind of difference is going to be impacted? What are you going to impact if you look at making this extension? Is it going to extend that elevated rate of unemployment? You know, this president has had the highest rates of unemployment in modern history.
No, Congresswoman,
and what we want to do is get that down.
It would also probably be fair to point out that when the president took office, we were in the midst of a legitimate economic crisis. And it's also probably fair to point out that the stock market has enjoyed its greatest run in history under this administration, no?
Well, Craig, I'm not trying to argue.
No, I'm not asking you to argue. I'm asking you to at least acknowledge the point.
What I'm saying is what we want is what is going to be best for American workers and American families who are saying we want to get back to work full time.
But at least acknowledge that last point, that under this administration, the stock market...
What we would like to do is have the Democrats join us, have the Senate join us. Everybody needs to sit at the table and have a very good conversation about how we address jobs growth, address the economy, address the impacts.
What would you do right now if you could wave a magic wand to create jobs? And please don't say repeal Obamacare. That's what you were going to say, isn't it?
No, it isn't.
Okay.
I think that what you have to do is say, we have this debt that is out here that is burdening every single decision that we make. It is a threat to our nation's security, according to Admiral Mullen.
So what do you do about it?
So this is what you do. what you do is begin to reduce what you're spending, just what every family and small business does. You get your spending under control first. That means that we deal with discretionary and entitlement spending. The second thing you do is deal with regulations. We talk to small business manufacturers
regulations
every day.
Three regulations.
EPA. Let's start with EPA, with the Boiler Act, the Utility Act, all of those rules that the EPA is trying to enforce. You look at the FDA with the difficulty that some of our innovators are having with new drugs and trying to get through that. You look at the FTC going after overreach and regulation with piano teachers and so many other areas.
You mentioned piano teachers, and I'm out of time. And I don't even have time to ask you about piano teachers.
Congresswoman, I'll fill you in.
Tennessee Congresswoman Marsha Blackburn, thank you so much,
Congresswoman. Thank you.